Thanks for joining us here on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Alicia Lewis. Today is a KARE 11 weather impact alert day because you'll see rain throughout your morning commute. Some places will have heavier rain than others, and some of you could even see some flooding. We already saw some flooding this morning on highways, so giving yourself a little extra time when heading out the door would be good. We're going to be checking in with KARE 11 Weather's team in just a few minutes. Developing right now, the death penalty could be on the table for the man accused of assassinating Representative Melissa Hortman and attempting to murder Senator John Hoffman. A new federal indictment against Vance Belter is also revealing some brand new details in this case. Our Michelle Beck is in the newsroom to lay out the case.
Seeking the death penalty is up to the U.S. Attorney General to decide. Along with some absurd new details, the AG will be looking into the 6 federal charges that Vance Belter now faces. Those charges are new as of yesterday's indictment, and they'll override the ones he originally faced. Along with stalking and murder, Belter is now accused with the attempted murder of Hope Hoffman on the left, who's the daughter of Yvette and Senator John Hoffman. For the first time, we are hearing the acting U.S. attorney say he is certain Belter acted alone, plus we're learning about this handwritten letter. Officials say Belter wrote it and left it in his getaway car. Belter made ridiculous claims the military secretly trained him and that Governor Walz tasked him with assassinating politicians.
Belter claims that people threatened to hurt his family if he didn't participate in this plan. Belter says in his letter that he met with people to talk about the request. And then when he arrived at the meeting, some people were waiting to kill him. Belter wrote that he was able to get away and that he went back a short time later and shot those people.
We know victims' families will have a say in whether Belter could face the death penalty, but ultimately it falls on the U.S. Attorney General, and we'll know her decision in just a few months. Back to you.
Now, Hope Hoffman, the daughter of Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette, reacting to the indictment just after it was announced. She says in part, "I feel relief today in knowing the perpetrator of these heinous acts will be charged to the fullest extent of the law. Though I will now forever coexist with the PTSD of watching my parents be nearly shot dead in front of me." She went on to say, "I'm grateful I happened to be at my parents' house to be able to call 911. Had I not been, they wouldn't be here. My parents saved me, and we saved each other." In the last 24 hours, the process to fill Melissa Hortman's seat in the State House just got underway. And right now, until July 22nd, candidacy petitions can be filed with the Secretary of State for District 34B. 2 candidates so far say they want to continue her work.
I think we all know what a force she was and kind of a fearless spokesperson. And I think that kind of fearlessness is something that will be hard to fill, hard to replace.
Everything that she led, that we were able to achieve, means so much to so many people. I wanted to be able to take up that legacy.
If needed, a primary will be held on August 12th, with the special election slated for September 16th. Right now, Minneapolis police are searching for the people responsible for a deadly shooting. It happened at around 6:30 last night on 11th Avenue South in the Elliott Park neighborhood. Audrey Russo is at police station with the details.
One of the most immediate concerns police have right now is retaliation in the neighborhood. This is something they're always on high alert for whenever there's a homicide where the people involved know each other. And they say that that's what happened last night around 6:30 on 11th Avenue. Police say it started with a group of people fighting on the sidewalk. Then things escalated and a man in his 30s was shot. He died on scene, but police have not identified him yet. However, police are talking to witnesses, and the department already has some cameras stationed in the neighborhood to keep an eye on activity.
Residents in the neighborhood have dealt with some crime and quality of life issues here. Particularly, there's some narcotics activity at times at the bus stops, as there is in other locations around the city. And that's been on our radar.
I reached out to Minneapolis police to see if there were any arrests made overnight. I also checked the crime dashboard this morning that tracks statistics. It now reads 28 murders in the city. Back to you.
This morning, the burglary trial for State Senator Nicole Mitchell picks back up. It comes after the jury saw hours of body camera video of her arrest for the first time. Senator Mitchell, a Democrat who represents the Woodbury area, is accused of breaking into her stepmom's home to steal personal items that belonged to her late father. The prosecution argues no amount of grief justifies a home burglary. A brand new Hulu documentary is shedding some new light on the unsolved disappearance of Minnesota native Jodi Huisentruit. It's called Her Last Broadcast. Minnesota Company helped produce the 3-part docuseries. The story revisits the people police have investigated, including one that led to a search in Winsted, Minnesota last year. The documentary takes you behind the scenes as the film crew was embedded with law enforcement during the search.
If you take a look at law enforcement and how they work these cases over time, I mean, sometimes they're going to go back through and there's going to be a reason to reinvestigate. We also talk about another newer person of interest who is a presumed serial killer who sort of comes into the mix, again, as a result of a tip that's been revived for good reason.
Our Morgan Wolf took a deep dive into this series, and you can watch her full story right now at KARE11.com. A check of the markets this morning after President Trump made a big announcement on energy and AI investments. You see, it's in the green so far, but big cash injection being overshadowed by an economic report showing prices on everyday goods is ticking up. Analysts say the effects of President's tariffs are starting to set in, pushing inflation even higher. NBC's Alice Barr has details from Washington.
Hi there. While President Trump is adamant his tariff moves are strengthening the U.S. economy, the new inflation data shows what experts say may be early signs companies are passing along added costs they can't keep absorbing. In a new snapshot of the U.S. economy, inflation picked up a notch in June, raising questions about the impact of President Trump's tariffs, beginning to slowly work their way through the economy, concerns he downplayed.
Very slight. Essentially, they were exactly as anticipated, very low inflation. So what you should do is lower the rate. The Fed should lower the rate immediately.
The president ramping up his pressure on Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, decreasing the cost of borrowing money. Though any sign of rising prices will complicate the Fed's next moves as it works to drive inflation down below 2%.
What is important here is that the rate of change, how quickly prices are changing, is increasing.
The new report showing consumer prices rose 2.7% in June, 0.3% higher than in May, a slight reversal from the overall downward trend this year. In tariff-targeted sectors, the price of appliances, toys, furniture, and bedding all rose, while the cost of a new vehicle dropped.
What we're realizing is that it takes a lot longer for tariffs to sort of work their way through the economy, and we may still see again, inflation continue to rise.
President Trump rejects that idea, adamant tariffs are bringing in big money and pointing to new investments in the U.S., including in energy and AI, rolling out more news Tuesday in Pennsylvania.
More than $56 billion in new energy infrastructure and more than $36 billion in new data center projects.
President Trump betting big on his vision for the economy. Experts are warning about a new term, sneakflation, where companies find subtle ways to pass on their increased costs without changing the list price. Tactics like lowering the quality of the product, shortening return windows, and ending free shipping. All things to watch out for. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, back here at home this morning, we know where the first 5 traffic safety cameras will be keeping an eye on drivers in Minneapolis. These locations are focused on city streets and are going to be placed at 3rd Street near First Ave, Fremont Avenue near West Broadway, 18th Avenue near Central, Chicago Avenue near Franklin, and Nicollet Avenue near 46th Street.
We know we have a reckless speeding challenge in Minneapolis. We need to be able to reduce that speeding at these locations. But also we hope that that helps to spur, a change across broader locations.
Now, the speed cameras are spread out across the city in areas that have had issues with speeding and are within 2,000 feet of a school. They're going to start monitoring in September. A first violation is going to be a warning and then at least a $40 ticket. The city's planning to add more speed cameras early next year. Hey, be sure to stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.